Now, this is the big news a lot of people were talking about. So is it too late for XRP here? Are people going to be selling it? Or is it going to like really explode?
Something pretty wild. $1,000 only gets you crumbs of XRP now.
So yeah, $1,000 used to be a lot of money for XRP. You could literally buy a very big amount. Now it's suddenly just becoming a very small amount that, you know, you can just get some XRP. Cardano can reclaim it's at its highest. I mean, I've been talking on this channel and people listen to me is because I've been saying utility tokens, government tokens, anything to do in the US is going to be bullish for me. Anything that US is going to be talking about is going to be bullish. If they work on this big technology, this is where it could really explode. The issue is, however, no crypto report really makes me worried because, again, it shows that it's one of the most important factors the crypto community has been asking about is now without it. It's like they forgot everything about it, right? And it was the big promise that Trump made in 2022. They want to crash it. I think it will, after 2028, it will go back up. I'm calling it now. Let's see. You know, with things like this is Trump is going to be in office for 4 years. And 4 years is a lot of time to really decide where you want to send crypto. Do you want to, you know, let it dump and let the big institutions buy it up? Do you want to pump it now while big institutions are already buying? It really, the big money came in, boys. The big money, the massive money is in now. And this is the big news that we have.
It's no joke, right? If you tried to buy XRP today, you'd barely get a handful. And the crazy part, this might be just the beginning of XRP's big price.
$1,000, you know, now we're at lowest unemployment, it really makes you consider, wow, okay, so if you have $1,000 and you don't know where to put it, do you put it in the stock market? No, it's super expensive. Everything like, are you gonna buy NVIDIA? It's very expensive and you can just own a few. But when people see XRP, I can buy, you know, $3 each for XRP. That's a lot of XRP. That's like 300, you know.
Journey where most of us can only afford the dust left behind. So this
is the thing I'm worried about. I wish, you know, small traders can still buy XRP always. But what we saw with Bitcoin is Bitcoin used to be for traders and new retail investors. So why did Ethereum pump? Is because Bitcoin became too expensive. Everybody wanted to own one Bitcoin. Nobody has $70,000 extra to invest. So who bought it? Institutions. Institutions bought all the Bitcoin. And it really makes you wonder why this is happening, right?
Tonight, I'm doom scrolling crypto Twitter, as one does at 2 a.m., and I see this tweet from someone named Xena, a known XRP pundit. Now, she basically says that XRP is heading to a price where regular folk will only be able to afford dust. Dust, like tiny fractions of a coin. So I nearly dropped my phone because only dust? As an XRP outsider looking in, that kind of sounded a little insane. I remember when XRP was just 20 cents and nobody really cared. Now it's kind of a flex to its own kind of brunch.
XRP has become its own thing, right? It needed 6 years, 9 years to get there, but it is there. It is becoming the next big thing that people are waiting for, and it might go mainstream, just like Pokemon. And you might call me crazy now, but we already have 5-6 million people talking about it. Again, what was mainstream in 2021, guys? Dogecoin and SHIB. Who takes the spotlight now? XRP. It's literally more talked, more traded than Bitcoin. It might be more traded in the future, but the spot futures that people are saying the prices are going to go up or down, it has more trading volume than Ethereum at this point. It's absolutely insane how much XRP is being talked, more than Bitcoin. So when people go to crypto, they buy XRP, not Bitcoin right now. It's going mainstream, and you heard it here first.
Well, now I had to kind of find out if she was, you know, for real or maybe just hyping the project up. And I promised you that What I discovered left me equal parts excited and a little uneasy. Now, it was, at least it might actually change even how you see XRP in your wallet, whether you have 1 or 1,000. Okay, picture this. Me, bleary-eyed, coffee in hand, digging through tweets and articles about XRP when I should actually...
Last year, you could get 2,000 XRP for $1,000. Now just 315. Exactly. XRP used to be 15 cents, so they're trying to buy all of your XRP silently. And don't be fooled, they are buying it while you are sleeping. I'm very, very truthful on my platform because these big whales, they're buying and they're going to make you richer, but they're going to make themselves 10 times richer, right? So everybody makes money probably until it crashes down a bit, but this could be a long time. This could be 15 years. If the US government steps in, it might never crash down below a certain price point. I don't think it will ever drop below, 70 cents anymore. Maybe if we're seeing the biggest recession of the world, $1 is realistic, but nothing is indicating that. Lowest unemployment, price changes, price cuts, people affording homes, people buying stuff. Again, so much money in this world right now.
Sleeping. Now, Zena's tweet really got under my skin, right? She's saying that at the current price, XRP is becoming out of reach for the little guys. So I start doing the kind of math, and at that moment, XRP was kind of hovering around $3 and some change. Sure enough, Zena kind of pointed out exactly what $1,000 gets you now, roughly 315 XRP for $1,000. 315 XRP. That's it. Now I thought, wait a second.
315 XRP. Now, if this reaches like $10 XRP, again, that's still $3,300, right? But you got to consider is the new buyers, when the price goes up, they might only buy 1,000 XRP for $1,000 or 100 XRP for $1,000 is what I'm trying to say. It's very worrying, and I'm trying to, make everyone see here that XRP still has that potential.
315 XRP used to be nothing to kind of write home about. Heck, just last year, $1,000 would have gotten me over 2,000 XRP.
Again, in 1 year,
so I
XRP more than doubled.
And it was true, right? In July of 2024,
best
XRP
coin
was
for transaction
48
speed. That's
cents.
exactly that.
So if you do the math, you'd have bagged around 2,083 XRP with $1,000. Now, here we are a year later, the very same $1,000 gets you a tiny fraction of that amount. Mind a little bit blown. So it's kind of like going to a store with the same $20 and coming out with a lot less candy than before.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer, right? So I sat there, kind of stunned, staring at these numbers. I've even had that.
So when you buy, for example, 2,000 XRP, one of your XRP is going to go up. But when you have 315, again, the more XRP goes up, like you cannot sell, let's say you sell 1,700 right now, you still have 315 XRP. So you're basically, and if you buy it like, this year, you just get 315. So that's 1,700 XRP that you basically did not get if you were a year too late. So if you understand me on that, if you bought a year ago, you would get 1,700 XRP free. And it's still wild that XRP is going up. 100 XRP for $1,000. Again, it is not that crazy to think about it.
Flashback, right? I remember back in the day, I had this friend who was an XRP true believer. And he was telling me, dude, buy a bag now while it's dirt cheap. And I
remember
like,
it was 0.01.
Maybe later, I'm focused on Bitcoin and ETH. Typical me, right? Procrastinating. Fast forward, of course, now, and I'm looking at $3 per XRP and thinking, later has officially punched me in the face. Now, if I want the amount of XRP that used to cost 1,000, I would actually need 6,000.
I feel like a lot of people bought it up to $3 because they had regret they missed it at 0.01. I remember when it was 1 cent and nobody wanted to buy it because of the regulation stuff, right? And now the regulation stuff being clear, I would have made a 300x myself, right? But that's the thing, you can never predict this stuff. Nobody predicted that XRP will go from 1 cent to $3.
$100 plus today. A bit of an ouch moment. And it's not just me and Xena noticing this, right? Another community voice, Edrino Farina,
Yeah, those were good
apparently
times.
said
If you
the
got
very same
XRP for
thing when
1 cent or a
XRP
dollar,
hit $2. That
man, you're
even at
lucky.
$2, XRP was already pricing out retail investors. So in other words, regular kind of people who, were...
This is why XRP was really 1 cent before, is because there wasn't much utility. I remember in 2016 there was a promise, and now over the last 9 years we got a lot of partnerships, and with these partnerships the big institutions are coming in. They're seeing, oh, XRP is actually very safe to invest. I think I'm going to put like $10 million into it, and you can see that an XRP investment treasury bought 20 million of it. Why? Because they feel safe about it. They feel safe to invest. And it's a big risk, $100 million to buy.
Already kind of starting to feel XRP was getting too expensive for them at $2. Now we're at $3. And I bet Farina's sitting, somewhere going, I told you so, right? A bit wild, right? A coin that was literally under $1 for what felt like forever is suddenly feeling expensive. So if you're an XRP holder from very way back, you're probably laughing, right? Thinking $3 is nothing. But to an outsider coming in right now, $3 per coin changes how you actually think about accumulating XRP. So I keep on digging, and I found a report that put this at least into even crazier perspective, right? They looked at what it would actually take to be considered a top holder of...
Okay, top 10 holders now need 2,400 XRP. So if you bought a year ago, you're literally the richest person, and like top 10%. If you're top 5%, you hold 5,000 XRP, which is $15,000. Now, what can $15,000 get you? Maybe 1 year of rent. So again, this is why I feel like we're early, is because to be top 5%, 5,000 XRP. That to me is crazy. XRP is not going to crash. There are still catalysts coming, and most people have no idea what's coming in August. I can't even... So you got to understand right now that more and more bad news is like, that is why we're going to be watching Jerome Powell today, and I'm going to give my predictions on where we go with XRP price. So yeah.
Of XRP nowadays. So to crack the top 10% on the
Welcome
XRP
to the channel, everyone.
list,
thank you for smashing that like button.
2,400 XRP.
Really helps me.
Now that would put your wallet in the top 10% of all XRP holders. 2,400 XRP. Now, not long ago...
So yeah, I feel like the middle class is going to get outpriced. It's getting outpriced everywhere. So right now, XRP is getting basically... The big issue with XRP right now is it's going to be harder and harder to afford it. Like, I'm talking about a full XRP. I'm not talking about one single XRP or 2 XRP or 3 XRP. I'm talking about holding like a big quantity of it, like $1,000 to $10,000 of it. You're going to get less and less XRP for your money. So yeah, exactly what I said is the middle class and is getting outpriced, and crypto became like from a fun thing for people to buy and make money. It's becoming like a big institutions coming in and making tons of money with it. So they're seeing a profit in there in crypto.
That was like, whatever, a couple of thousand coins. Do the math, 2,400 XRP at today's price, $3 plus.
Once
some
again,
change is around $7,500. So for the average person, $7,500 is actually a lot of money. So the report noted that the average salary earner in the US or the UK would actually have to save for months to accumulate 2,400 XRP right now. So can you imagine? Right.
So, man, I mean, if someone bought like a year ago, that would be way more money than it is now, right? And you could still sell off all the gains and you would still be at step 1. So just imagine if you bought it a year ago, just 1 year. Again, stock markets need usually 5-10 years. That is what's really pumping the market. But now we are seeing the crypto markets really take a hit.
If you're in the middle class Joe, or you are a middle class Joe, you can't just casually become an XRP whale.
Like, it's going to be harder to own lots of XRP. That's exactly what happened with Bitcoin. And now we're seeing XRP, it's happening same to XRP, not just Bitcoin, same to XRP. You could own 1,000 Bitcoin before, right? Like one full Bitcoin. Now this is not possible anymore. Does anyone have $120K just spare? because otherwise they would put it somewhere else if you had a 120K USD extra. Again, now what we're seeing is this is going to be happening. The same thing with XRP. You will own less and less, and others will own more and more. And that's why they're secretly buying.
More, right? Not unless you've got a pretty fat wallet. So you're buying in little bits and pieces, right? And XRP's price success is literally making it harder for normal people to actually stack a large position. Now, it's kind of an ironic kind of twist, right? The higher that it goes, the more expensive the club.
The issue with XRP is the prices grow up so fast. So it can be 50 cents, Nelson, and you put 10K in, you miss out like 2-3 days, and the prices can literally explode overnight. So this is the thing. People don't understand that crypto is not like the stock market. It's not going to take, earnings reports. It's not going to take just a few months to grow. It's going to take a few days. This is the big news. Only Nvidia can grow that fast. All other stocks need years and years and years. Amazon, 20 years. Google, also 20 years. XRP, 9 years to give 300x. So let that sink in.
Of big holders gets. So at this point, I'm already kind of kicking myself for not grabbing more XRP earlier, as we probably all are, right? But Zena's warning had another layer to it. She's basically predicting that this trend will continue, right? That the number of XRP that you can buy for $1,000 will keep dropping as price rises. Her example was that if XRP hits $5, which isn't too crazy a leap from $3 and some change, then
$5 is already set in stone, in my opinion. Like, again, not financial advice, but $5, come on. We saw literally in 1 week the price double from 1.8 to 3.6. You don't think XRP can basically explode at this price level?
It's about a 60% increase. At $5, a lot of people would say, nope, too expensive for me. And you'll only scrape together maybe a few tokens like dust. Now, nice. Honestly, $5 doesn't even sound that high in crypto land, but psychologically, it might be. We've kind of seen it with stocks too, right? Once the stock gets into the